Michael Carrick just pulled off something absolutely mental in his first game as Manchester United manager. And I'm not talking about beating City 2-0 at Old Trafford. I'm talking about the way he did it. While everyone's busy celebrating the result, nobody's talking about the tactical masterclass he just orchestrated. Because what Carrick deployed against Pep Guardiola wasn't just different from Amorim's system. It's genuinely unlike anything we're seeing in the Premier League right now. And if you understand what I'm about to show you, you'll realize why this might actually be the beginning of something special. Let's start with what everyone noticed. The 4-3-2-1. Simple, right? Classic Manchester United. A return to the basics after months of Amorim's stubborn 3-4-3. But here's the thing. It's not just a 4-3-2-1. Watch what happens when United have the ball. The entire structure morphs. And I mean completely transforms into something else. Luke Shaw, the left back, pushes incredibly high and wide, almost like a traditional winger. Meanwhile, on the opposite flank, Diogo Dalot doesn't mirror that movement. Instead, he tucks inside, dropping deeper to essentially become a third centre-back alongside Maguire and Martinez. So now you've got a back three. But it doesn't stop there. Patrick Dorgu, who started on the left wing, doesn't stay wide like Shaw. He drifts inside into the left half space, almost operating as a second number 10 alongside Bruno Fernandes. And on the right, Amad holds the width, pinning back City's left back Nathan Ake. The result? A fluid 3-2-5 in possession. 3 at the back for build-up security, 2 holding midfielders in Casemiro and Mainu providing a foundation, and 5 attackers creating chaos in City's defensive third. But here's what makes it genuinely special. This isn't a rigid system. The roles are constantly rotating. Sometimes Shaw tucks in and Dalot pushes forward. Sometimes Dorgu holds width and Amad inverts. The shape stays 3-2-5, but the personnel within that shape are in perpetual motion. Pep Guardiola had no idea what to do with it. Because how do you man-mark a system where the players keep swapping positions? City's defenders couldn't track runners. Their midfield couldn't pick up the free man. And United exploited that confusion ruthlessly. According to Opta, United completed 379 passing sequences of 10+ passes in Carrick's first season at Middlesbrough using this exact system. They ranked first in the championship for goals, shots, expected goals, and touches in the opposition box. And now he's brought it to the Premier League, against the reigning champions, in his very first game. Now let's dig deeper into why this system is so difficult to play against. Most teams in modern football play symmetrically. Most fullbacks do similar jobs. Both wingers occupy similar spaces. It's balanced, predictable, and honestly, quite boring to defend against once you figure it out. Carrick's United? They're completely asymmetrical, and that asymmetry creates massive problems. On one side, you have Shaw bombing forward, staying wide, stretching the pitch, and creating a genuine outlet. This forces City's right back Rico Lewis to stay deep and wide, which stops him from inverting into midfield. Literally one of Pep's core tactical principles. But on the other side, Dalot is doing the complete opposite. He's tucking in narrow, creating numerical superiority in the build-up phase, and essentially giving United an extra centre-back when they need to play out from pressure. This isn't random. This is calculated chaos. When United build from the right, Dalot stays narrow, Martinez can step forward with the ball, and suddenly United have a 3v2 overload against City's press. When they switch to the left, Shaw's already high and wide, ready to receive in space. City couldn't press effectively because the structure kept changing. Press the right side, United switch left. Press high on Shaw. Dalot's already created a numerical advantage deep. And the wingers are part of this dance too. When Shaw goes wide, Dorgu comes inside. When Dalot tucks in, Amad holds width. It's a constant seesaw that keeps defenders guessing. According to tactical analysis from his Middlesbrough days, Carrick used this asymmetrical approach in 112 of his 124 championship games. It became his signature. One adventurous fullback, one conservative one. One winger hugging the touchline, one operating between the lines. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about attack. When United lose the ball, they don't scramble into a flat 4-4-2. They immediately form what analysts call a zonal pressing trap. If the ball's on United's right, the right-sided players press aggressively. The left-sided players tuck in narrow, cutting off central passing lanes. It's basically Pep's positional play principles mixed with Jurgen Klopp's gegenpressing intensity. And Carrick's players executed it to perfection against City. Now, let's talk about what happens when United win the ball back, because this is where Carrick's tactical IQ really shines. United's first goal came from a textbook counter-attack. City lose possession in midfield. Maguire wins the header. The ball breaks to Casemiro, and within 3 seconds, Bryan Mbeumo is running at City's backpedaling defence. This isn't luck. This is systematic. Carrick has built what I'm calling trigger zones for transitions. These are specific areas of the pitch where, if United win the ball, they're instructed to go immediately. The most obvious one is the wide channels around the halfway line. If Ugarte or Casemiro wins the ball there, they're not looking to recycle possession. They're whipping it out wide to Mbeumo or Ahmad instantly. And because one fullback is always positioned high in Carrick's system, United suddenly have a winger running at a fullback with overlapping support arriving and central players flooding the box. It's a 3v2 or a 4v3 situation within seconds. City couldn't handle it. But here's the most sophisticated part. If the counter isn't on, if City have gotten back into shape, United don't force it. They don't try to thread impossible passes through a low block. Instead, they recycle the ball, shift it to the opposition flank, and wait for the next trigger moment. It's patient chaos, calm enough to keep the ball, aggressive enough to pounce when the space appears. And the numbers back this up. At Middlesbrough, Carrick's teams ranked first in the championship for goals from fast breaks. 9 goals in his first season alone. They had the speed of a counter-attacking team with the control of a possession-based side. Against City, United created 6 big chances. They hit the woodwork twice. They had 3 goals ruled out for marginal offsides. That's not just new manager bounce. That's systematic dominance. And listen, if you've made it this far and you're enjoying the breakdown, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. We're still a small channel looking to grow, and hitting that button genuinely goes a long way for us. It helps us keep making these deep tactical analyses every week. Now, all of that attacking brilliance is great, but football isn't just about scoring goals. So let's talk about what Carrick's doing when United don't have the ball. Because this is exactly where Carrick made his biggest tactical improvement from his Middlesbrough days. At Borough, Carrick was criticised for being tactically inflexible. He stuck to his 4-3-2-1 even when it wasn't working. He rarely adjusted mid-game. And eventually that stubbornness cost him. But against City, different story. United defended in a compact 4-4-1-1 shape out of possession. Bruno dropped deeper to join the midfield line. The wingers tucked in narrow, and Mbeumo led the press alone up front. But here's the clever part. The press wasn't man-oriented, it was zonal. United didn't chase City's players all over the pitch. Instead, they controlled specific zones. If City tried to build through Rodri, Mainoo or Casemiro would step up to engage. If they went wide to the fullbacks, the nearest winger would press. And because Carrick's hired Steve Holland, Gareth Southgate's former assistant with England, as his number 2, there's clearly been an upgrade in defensive organisation. Holland brings the elite level tournament experience. He knows how to set up teams to be defensively solid without sacrificing intent. And you could see his influence immediately. United's defensive line was high, but not recklessly so. They stepped up when appropriate, caught City's offside 3 times, but never got caught out by long balls over the top. The double pivot of Casemiro and Mainoo were instructed to be aggressive when the right triggers appeared, pressing high when City's centre-backs had the ball, but also disciplined enough to drop and cover when needed. According to match stats, City managed just 1 shot on target the entire game. 1. Against a United defence that had been leaking goals for months under Amorim. That's not coincidence. That's coaching. But perhaps the most underrated aspect of Carrick's tactics, he's actually playing people in their best positions. Sounds obvious, right? But after months of Amorim trying to fit square pegs into round holes, This is revolutionary for United. Bruno Fernandes is playing as a proper number 10 again. Not a second striker, not a deep-lying midfielder. A 10, where he's won Player of the Year awards, where he's at his absolute best. Casemiro is sitting deep, breaking up play, shielding the defense. Exactly what Real Madrid bought him for. Exactly what he's elite at doing. Amad is playing as a winger with freedom to drift inside. Mbemo is operating as a fluid forward who can run the channels. Mainoo is box to box, using his athleticism and technical quality. Even Harry Maguire, who many had written off, looked reborn, because Carrick's put him in a system where he doesn't have to defend massive spaces in behind, where he can use his aerial dominance and composure on the ball. And Patrick Dorgu, the new signing from Lecce, looked like he'd been at United for years, because Carrick's given him a role that suits his profile perfectly. An attacking fullback winger hybrid who can exploit space. The players aren't overthinking. They're not confused about their jobs. They know exactly what they're supposed to do. And you can see it in their body language. Against City, United players were smiling. They were celebrating together. They looked like they were actually enjoying football again. Compare that to the last few months under Amorim, where every player looked confused, frustrated, and beaten down by a system that clearly didn't suit them. Carrick's approach is beautifully simple. Here's your role, here's the structure, now go express yourselves within it. It's exactly what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do. Give players clear principles, then trust them to make decisions. So, is Michael Carrick actually using tactics we've never seen before? Well, if we're being pedantic, no. Every individual element exists somewhere in modern football. The 3-2-5 shape, Pep's used it. Asymmetrical fullbacks, Ange Postecoglou does it at Spurs. Trigger-based pressing, Liverpool perfected it under Klopp. But the combination, the way Carrick's blended possession football with counter-attacking directness, the way he's simplified everything while remaining tactically sophisticated, the way he's adapted his Middlesbrough system specifically for United's personnel, that is genuinely unique. And more importantly, it's working. United just beat Manchester City 2-0. They dominated the chances. They controlled the game. They looked like a team for the first time in months. Now, can Carrick sustain this over a full season? Can he adapt when opposition managers figure out his patterns? Can he handle the pressure when results inevitably dip? Those are all valid questions. And honestly, we won't know the answers for weeks, maybe months. But right now, in this moment, Carrick's doing something special. He's taken a broken squad and given them clarity. He's taken confused players and given them confidence. He's taken a desperate fan base and given them hope. Whether this leads to the permanent job, whether United can challenge for top 4, whether this system works against other opponents, all of that remains to be seen. But tactically, Michael Carrick has already proven he belongs at this level. The 3-2-5 shape, the asymmetrical approach, the trigger-based transitions. It's a complete, coherent, effective tactical system. And if United's hierarchy are smart enough to see what we're all seeing, they might just have stumbled onto something very, very good.